Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Hub City Highlights. Crystal and I are here with a very special guest. I'm going to turn things over. Crystal, why don't you go ahead and introduce our very special guest for us?
This is, and I've asked 3 times how to pronounce your name, Nirmala.
Nirmala.
Perfect.
Nirmala. Do we have that right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here with us today so much.
Founder of Parents Against Depression, her and her husband, Anthony. Tell us a little bit, this really started after the death of your one and only son, Dominic. Tell me a little bit about what exactly this program is.
Parents Against Depression, we have certain goals, and what we want to accomplish in the short term is to fight the stigma. Depression, people who are depressed are, the stigma, one of the stigma is that they are crazy, lazy, and stupid. They're mental, they're not worth dealing with. The other stigma is that they're faking it. They cannot appreciate the life's blessings, want more and more and more. In reality, depression is a brain disease, just like blood pressure and cancer. Unfortunately, depression is invisible because blood pressure, you can measure it. Cancer, you can detect via MRI and mammogram.
Now, your son committed suicide in 2013. And you were just saying about the type of people. He was an overachiever, I would almost say. He graduated with honors from the University of Maryland. In physics? Was it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
And he was also pursuing his doctorate in material science.
But you had said he had struggled for many years with this.
Yes.
So, as a parent who's going through something like this, what do you hope to achieve a little bit through this?
Well, our son suffered for over 13 years, and the last 5 years was pretty bad, and especially the last 6 months were worse. And we as parents suffered with him, and I would say we completely relied on the healthcare professionals, and we were hoping that he will get better sooner or later. And that is one of the biggest mistakes we have made. We should have been hands-on, but when your child is in the 20s, unless they give you the permission, you can't get involved. And if our son knew what he knew now, then, right before he took his own life, he would have let us be in the treatment. So we want to raise the awareness to parents that you have to be hands-on. To me, be present at the key meetings at the mental health professionals with your son or daughter, and also be on, and also we want to raise the awareness to the adolescents and young adults, saying that don't be macho, and if you're suffering from depression, it's not because of your moral or personal failure. You can't assume that your parents know your mental health situation, ask for help, make them part of your team.
That's a good point.
That is very interesting, and I think, we hear a lot of stories too about kids in middle school and high school who are bullied and are depressed, and the parents about being involved. Now, your organization or program, Parents Against Depression, tell me exactly what that is and sort of what you offer to parents who may have questions or concerns, or what is the program about itself?
Well, at this point, we are interested in doing presentations to high school health classes, churches, civic organizations, whoever is inviting us to do the presentation. And our presentation talks about the causes of depression, and we believe that depression is a brain disease, and it's caused by imbalances in chemicals and also in neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and cortisol. We also want to emphasize the fact that early intervention is the key because your brain continues to develop until in your early 20s, and during the teenage time is precious because you learn the basic life skills, and if you miss out on that, you can't catch up with that thing, and then you cannot reach your full potential. And the suicide rate peaks, I believe, between 17 to 23. And or nowadays it looks like it might even be younger. So we want to target that group. And we also want to educate the parents the symptoms and the signs they need to look for.
That's what I was going to mention. If maybe parents are concerned or are there certain things that they should look for? Certain signs?
We do not have a whole list of them,
Okay.
but we are compiling at this point. And one of the things they can look for is if there is kind of changes in their behavior, sleeping habits.
Okay.
And also one main thing I would say to look for is if they isolate themselves from their peers.
Okay.
That means they are suffering from social anxiety and low self-concept. And that could happen, and this is what this appalls us because we are a very close family and we did everything together. And our son, my husband is of Italian origin, and we cannot do anything right according to his grandmother, but he couldn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, he was just raised in a very warm, and we have, I'm of Indian origin, and we have extended family on both sides. They were shocked to know that. So if that could happen to our son, that could happen to anyone.
And that's very important to mention. It's not always exactly who you think. Now, do we have some information to put up
Yeah, well,
on
we
the
have
screen?
their little slogan here. It's hack the hormones, tweak the vitamins, stop the brain wreck, and support PAD, which is Parents Against Depression.
That sounds like a very good motto for everyone to kind of adapt and think about and be aware of. So, Nirmala, we want to thank you very much for sharing your story with us here on Hub City Highlights. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And stay tuned. Coming up after the break, we're going to go on a little corn maze. Don't go away.